heard so many, and this is amazing.
I feel like I've told this before.
That's how I started my TikTok. Was I'll just tell stories about, like weird fetish things.
I thought you meant that. That's how I
That's
started
my
my
TikTok.
That's so ironic. I put purple lipstick on my asshole.
I smoked a cigarette out of my
You
asshole
too?
for TikTok. Oh my God, purple! It was purple lipstick. Oh my God. But
Wet and Wild?
The Wet and Wild purple
Same.
lipstick. Oh my God, girl.
NYC.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
I'm Molly Stewart.
And I'm Laura.
And this is the Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast. We're best friends, and Laura shoots pretty much all of my adult content.
Yep. I've seen everything.
Everything. I'm still trying to see everything of her, but that's part of the journey that you can experience here on the Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast. Laura, what do we talk about here?
Anything and everything.
What is my job, Laura?
To be beautiful and lovely and funny.
Oh my God, you're so sweet, but that's not true at all. So Laura is here to bring me a little bit out of the dirty headspace and into a more wholesome one. But I can't say that all of our conversations aren't dirty, so they might be a little bit of a false advertising. But whether you're returning or new to the show, welcome, and we're so very happy to have you here. So, Laura, why don't you tell them what they can do if they're watching on YouTube?
If you're on YouTube, we'd love if you leave a comment, share with a friend, subscribe.
Do all the things, and wherever you're listening, definitely subscribe and share with a friend if you like what we have to talk about. So, let's go get not dirty.
Let's get in it. Flash anybody. Pickle Rick. Assume the position.
Been wearing a lot of mini skirts lately. Are you feeling frisky?
Feeling real frisky, especially in this cold weather.
I feel less frisky in cold weather.
I'm like, just get me.
Yeah. You do look
just
very
like-
cozy. It's like a cozy sweater and like cozy shoes, and then like boom.
Get me.
Which I do like our matching gray. We've done a really
Hell
good
yeah,
job of
we
this.
all got the memo.
Yes,
we
good
did.
job,
We
guys.
got the gray
Good job.
memo.
Well done.
Also, my
Well
love,
done.
you might, it's
Ow.
a little close to your chin.
Hey,
Yeah, there you
hello.
That's a little
Is that
bit, yeah.
better?
Mm-hmm. It was so like down by your chin. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. Or
Hello.
not. Okay.
Yay. This is how we do it.
Okay, I think we're good. We're rolling. All right.
Exciting.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Actually, David just started now, or it started from then. It was a cool conversation about gray or whatever. Welcome back to the Totally Wholesome Not Dirty podcast. We are the three girls in gray. I am Molly Stewart. This is Laura.
Hey.
And here we have joining us, and I'm very excited, Sophia Locke.
Hello, everyone. Where do I look?
Anywhere that you want. So this is
Two.
your guys' camera here, and this is our wide camera over here. We have all the different camera
Love
angles.
that.
If you lean forward, you can look into mine if you want to.
Wait,
It's over
where's
there.
This one? Oh,
Yeah.
hello. Hi.
Can I peek
David,
through?
get her
I
from
should
all
know where
angles.
cameras are. Huh?
She doesn't have any bad angles, so
That's
don't worry
very
about it.
sweet.
You're
Okay.
amazing. It's actually cool to have you here because we knew each other basically through MFC, but have never
Yeah.
actually met until this point,
Yeah.
walking through my door, and I was like, oh.
Oh, hi. Yeah. Yeah, but I was saying I feel like I know you because it's been, what, like 10 years or something, maybe?
Yeah.
Don't
It
wanna
has.
date
It was
myself.
just the 10-year
Crazy.
anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Time flies.
It does.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like thinking back to all of the years on MFC. How long has it been? Because I know that you've come back into the industry now, but how long were you like away?
I was away for 5 years and I had done camming for 7 years prior to that. So I had done MFC mostly, I think, that 7 years. And then I was out for 5. I've been back for a year and a half. So whenever anyone asks me, it's a complicated answer. I'm like,
Yes.
12 years ago, but then 5 off, and then I'm
Yeah.
back and whatever. Yeah.
All that matters is you're back.
Thank God, right? Oh,
Yeah.
missed it.
But don't you look back at like your beginning cam years? What are your thoughts about that and like the person that you were when you first started? Do you notice a difference between that and now?
Oh, a huge difference. I think mostly in confidence and intention. Like I was just kind of fell into success, I think, when it came to camming, and I just really loved it. But I think I had my own insecurities, around it. And now that I'm back in it, I feel a lot more confident, a lot more secure. And instead of just kind of going where the industry takes me, I've been really intentional about branding and about the choices that I'm making now, because I want to take advantage of the second chance that I thought I absolutely wouldn't get. Oh God.
Well,
We're
sorry.
throwing shit. Oh, God.
I just got so excited.
Did you
So
just say
angry.
whale?
Well, yeah, I
Whale.
did. I think well. No, but it's kind of funny. It's something that's really true about this industry is it can be something that's very empowering. It can really help boost your self-confidence, but like in the same breath, it can decimate it because it's a job that, of course people enjoy the personality, especially with Cam. That's why they come back.
Yeah.
But of course it starts with the looks and stuff like that. And that's typically what people will see first and acknowledge first. So you're judged based off of your looks as well.
Sure.
So you have people building you up, but then you also have people tearing you down, and you're naked. You're like the most
So vulnerable.
so vulnerable.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like
Yeah. I had a really positive experience with all of it. I felt like, especially with kind of cam members, I felt boosted all the time. It was really empowering for me. And then I gained a lot of weight while I was on cam.
oh, really?
And so I got up to like close to 200 pounds, and everyone kind of saw that progression on cam. And they stayed with me, and then I, hired a trainer and lost 60 pounds over a year and a half during
Wow.
camming.
Whoa.
And they all kind of stayed with me through that too. So I changed body types. And
Yeah.
so it was just hopefully like a testament to personality,
yeah.
how much that matters on cam. Of course, you know that too. You have so much personality, you
Well,
know.
it
and
was
that
funny
keeps
because
people
like
around.
until I stepped away from cam, I didn't realize I guess I didn't really realize that my fans liked me for more than just my body
Aw,
because
yeah.
with Cam, I just felt like, I was online every single day. It
Yeah.
was like no days off. We were talking about it before rolling, but
Yeah.
it was just like when I started doing other things and I was like, well, I'm not going to be on this campsite anymore. People followed me. And other people
Amazing.
came, and no
Yeah.
matter where I go, it's like, of course, not everybody even consumes the podcast if they consume my porn. Of course not. Of course not. Like, I know that not many people listen.
Should
but
we take a poll?
but, but people still do, and it's like no matter what little kind of side things that we do, or like even when they subscribe to like Laura's Wholesome fans or whatever, that's
I
like a
do
way
have
that they support me as well. Yep.
I love that. What do you post?
Like BTS.
Oh, okay.
Like
Um,
when she
you
shoots my
know,
content. And
Yeah, funny things that happen on set.
Oh, okay.
And then
okay.
I'll like, I'll tag whoever's in the video.
That's so
and like
cute.
but or I also wanted to do it too, like for like makeup subscription purposes. Like
Great.
so people that need like one-on-one advice for like makeup. So it could be for anyone. It's
I love
wholesome.
that. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love that.
I actually have a campaign though that's running, and we're clearing the campaign, y'all. Thank you, John
Yay.
Saul. He's been the
You
number
want
one.
to tell her what your campaign is for?
The campaign is for Molly to see me naked, and not everybody, just her.
Just me.
just
And
just
we'll have a video camera set up, of her
of just her reaction. It's like you're reacting to YouTube videos, but it's
Yeah.
actually just your friend naked.
Yeah, and then
That-
there might be a camera from behind me with just like my shoulder, and then maybe like this
like a
area.
bare, shoulder,
the robe drops.
just like a. Oh,
Sure.
I love this. How are you feeling about this?
I'm feeling great because we are a 10th of the way there, and the
I
campaign.
meant about getting naked.
I'm like, let's do this.
I think that she secretly wants me to see her naked.
Yeah.
And
I feel
like
she
you
just
wa-
wants money. Which I'm here for.
Great,
Because
both
I say
things.
more power to you.
Nudity
I'll
and money. That's what we
Yes.
do.
I'm trying to secure the bag.
Of course, as you should.
And she's being my
That's what I'm-
bestie by like supporting
That's what I'm telling
this.
you.
It's a
man.
really
She's
sweet.
like-
That's another wholesome thing.
It
right
is,
there.
and she's like, I don't even want to see you naked, but we will secure the bag.
I love that.
I mean, I do want
Now
to
you're
see her
down.
naked. It like I said, we discussed it. It is a little weirder now that we have accidentally kissed. So
So let's tell that. Can you please fill in,
I
Sophia?
do. I need to know.
Fill her in because you were there.
AVN was a wild week. So it was just a lot. And Laura had never been before, and I think she was just like overcome by all the sexual tension of
Get
AVN,
it?
and
Oh,
she just
overcome.
made out with
No.
me.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
No.
No, but it was like just the last day, and we were wrapped up. We all like
I think we were
just chilling.
zombies at
We were
that
zombies.
point. You
Okay.
were.
So she's
Yeah,
packing
I
up her
was
stuff
too. I
to
was dead.
leave, and I bend down to give her a hug to say goodbye. And she leans in to hug me, and then she's just like, and I turned because I was gonna like, I don't even know what I was
Sorry,
thinking.
I'm yelling into the mic.
This is such a romantic story that you're
We
telling
just
right
like,
now.
oh, it's not. It was like slow motion, and
Yeah,
yet
But it
yeah,
was
yeah.
not.
But it still happened,
It was a
and
quick
it blows my
peck on
mind
the
now.
lips.
It was just like,
Oh,
like
it's just
this.
a quick peck.
No, it was.
There's
it was.
no tongue or anything.
No,
No,
it
it
was
wasn't
weird.
like that.
That's why it was even weirder. Do you understand? It was like a kiss from your dirty uncle or something.
Yeah. You give dirty uncle vibes.
You
so
kissed-
this makes
Thank you. That's actually a huge compliment.
You're so
I am
welcome.
the fist,
She is,
So it's like the
actually.
kiss from a fist.
So Have you heard the discussion about phallic size being related to nose length?
No, not nose length.
So they say it's actually a more telltale sign that someone has a bigger schlong if they have a bigger nose, bigger indicator than feet.
And you see this here?
No, wow.
It's a big nose. I would
have a huge cock.
I would have a tiny little dick. Yeah. And it makes me really sad because I feel like I have really big dick energy.
You do. I feel like you would.
But I'm just not.
Oh,
We don't know that though yet. We don't know.
well, what size of strap-ons do you usually choose?
Big.
Well, well, for me,
You knew that quickly.
the thing is that it depends. It depends on the partner because
Okay,
some girls
sure.
are sensitive to dildos and they don't really want the big one, or
Yeah.
it's like, you know, especially if maybe you're on your period, you gotta use a sponge, and you're like, well, I really don't want a big one then. So I think it kind of just depends. But I like a decent enough size that it's easier to keep in, and here's why.
Right.
Because all right, certain positions, let's be honest, they're harder if you have a smaller
Let's be-
pecker. You know,
Right.
it's harder.
And on camera too.
and on
That's
camera.
why it makes a lot of sense in porn to have the longer
because
dick.
people
Because
want
you
to
can
see
see it. You can
what's
open
happening.
up to it. Yeah.
And if the dick is only like 4 inches or something, or even just like a 5-inch average cock, you can't necessarily always, especially because it's a strap on and not attached to your body.
Right. And if the
you
person
can't
has a
always-
big ass too, then it hides the dick.
I
and
like
so-
butts.
I love fucking live.
Oh, I just
need some fucking butts.
I just want to eat them. But anyway,
booty.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
Yep.
But so that's why, you know, sometimes bigger is better, especially when it comes to strap-ons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it sucks with a strap-on because you can't feel.
You can't feel
that
when it's
sensation.
out.
You can't feel
Yep.
when it's out.
Yep,
So
that's what I
sometimes
struggle
you'll
with.
just
Better off.
it'll just be like slamming it into like the labia and just like, oh,
nothing.
yeah, baby, and she's just like,
Hey, buddy.
hey, put it back,
Hey.
hey, put it back in.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just cut porn movie magic. Moving on, you know.
Yep. Yep.
Have you ever had a situation
New
like
angle.
new angle? Yeah.
Yeah, right?
We'll tell Laura. I'm like, all right, Laura, now move
Just on the
this
face. Just on the face. Look at her
Yeah,
reaction.
let's start close and then get back.
Yep.
I'm turning Laura into like a porn producer over
love
here. It's
this.
amazing.
Yeah.
She's killing it.
God,
Smashing
no,
it.
I'm not.
Yeah.
You're,
Don't
you're
listen to
actually
The site could
killing
be
it.
dirtyuncle.com.
Yeah, I'm just the man behind the camera.
I know.
Hey.
I love this.
The fist behind the camera.
I'm just the
Yep.
Oh my god.
I mean, I've been on many sets, but never behind a camera.
Oh.
Never.
Well, except for me and all my shit.
Now she's like, here you go.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is how you do it.
"Ah."
And it's funny because it's been like a learning curve. So,
Yes, it has been.
yeah. Well, some of the initial video content is just like, Laura,
She had
are
no
you sure you don't want
face.
to eat my box? Because this is just all box. Like, there's no
Oh,
face.
It's like the
It's like
whole
maybe
thing is
like
just
my
pussy.
lower lip is in here, or like you'll get most of my body, but then it's just my head and like the rest of my body.
I was
is
being
here.
abstract. I was
That's-
trying to give
yeah.
the
But-
viewers, like, you know, they
Like a
needed-
cinematic kind
Yeah.
of vibe.
But even
But the
then,
whole thing was like,
implied.
she was like, I don't know if I could use
Or-
this.
Oh no.
no, I could use it. It was
Okay,
just
okay.
it just made me laugh
making
because
jokes,
because
too.
like
I'm
every
making
every 5 seconds it's just like my eyes are gone.
Nostril down. Nostril down.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
this much.
no.
There's just a booger up there.
Oh no.
One boob, not
People
two.
who have the nose fetishists.
Yeah.
Like you could just fuck up their nostril.
I actually wonder
Hey.
if I have nose fetish people sometime because joining my clubs on OnlyFans, there's a certain VIP tier that you get to go travel up my nose. You know, the zooms up my nose at the end.
like Magic School Bus.
Awesome.
Oh, I
Miss
love
Frizzle.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Miss Frizzle back then. Have you ever done a Miss Frizzle costume?
No, but I guess I
Because
could with the red hair.
I feel like you
yeah,
could.
Yeah.
We just need to get the crimper out and
Did
just
you?
like
I could do that.
Did you do it?
I
feel like
can
you-
see that.
I feel like you
for
did.
sure.
You probably did a Miss Frizzle.
I did when I
Yeah.
was a kid. I
Oh,
was actually
really?
excited because I remember when I was a kid, I got to meet Miss Frizzle, you know, at the Children's
a
Museum.
character.
Like I waited in line.
Oh,
I was so stoked. I love the
love
Magic
it.
School Bus.
it was the jam way back when.
It was,
The
especially when
going
you were
inside the body one I remember very well.
Yes, me
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
It was
That was
just
so
like
cool.
the best to watch when you were sick from like school,
Yeah.
homesick. Like you're like,
Yeah. You're like, I'm learning. This is learning,
Yeah.
teaching
yeah,
me stuff.
this is way better, especially when you're having some chicken noodle soup, you know, chilling on the couch.
That's what you should do in your videos, Miss Frizzle.
I should. It would be one of the least weird things that I've created.
I believe that actually. Yeah. I feel like
She's
we
I
were
know this
both
is
kind of weirdos
Yeah.
back in the day too, all the kind
Yeah.
of strange cam shows and
Yeah.
you know.
What's like one of your do you have like a really memorable cam show that you like put together and that you planned out?
Oh yeah, I mean there are a couple of there was because I got into a Godzilla thing for a while and playing Jenga, and then they built a Jenga city for me,
I still
and
have a
then
Jenga,
I
like a giant Jenga
yeah
tower.
everything. So there was a whole Jenga city, and I destroyed it as Godzilla with like the sirens and the Godzilla movie sounds and paper like airplanes from the sky,
Oh.
and then I like ass
yes.
fucked a cardboard cutout of Justin Bieber as Godzilla at the end of it.
Oh, I love that.
Like it was just such a weird. I did a blonde Sophia show because I had a character where I was really stupid, and I planned out 4 hours of the show with doing games where I didn't really understand how they went, and I had on a loop every single version of Call Me Maybe, just playing over
Oh
4
my
hours,
God.
and every single time a new one would start, I'd go, "Oh my God, I love this song, you guys!" It was ridiculous. So I had a lot of fun with camming, and I
Yeah.
did a lot of really weird shit.
Oh, you have to do the weird
I mean, it was
shit.
just so much fun. But
It's
back in the
so
day, it was the wild, wild west. No one was doing games. No one was doing raffles. Like
Yeah.
it started around then, so there was a real chance that if you did something different, it had never been done before.
Yeah.
And I loved that aspect of camming. And I feel like it's so saturated and
Yeah.
everything's been done now.
Yeah, but it's still it's fun because I think back to those moments. Like I remember when I started doing decently on MFC was after I got boobs, of course, and
Weird how that works.
it didn't change anything, but it did.
Maybe because I got smarter. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. And a lot
Sky.
funnier.
I think it's so much funnier. That's just the
All
drama.
personality.
But I was doing these things where I would project a movie
Yeah.
up onto the wall in the background and then just cam like normal.
Yeah.
So it was like how you'd play music, like more like background, and then I would dress up like a character from the movie
Fun. Oh, I didn't
and
know
then
you did this.
do
This is
like
cool.
a cum show like
Yeah.
with the movie like projected onto me,
Oh, cool.
and it was
Ah,
so
that's
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
And
That's really
then
cool.
it started going off, so it became like a regular thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I got flagged, like out of
Because you
nowhere.
were
So people
doing
started like
the
reporting
copywriting.
the stuff,
Yeah,
and doing the things. And I was like, damn it.
Aw.
And then I remember like a year later, right, it starts popping up and people are doing movie stuff again. And I'm like, how are you doing the
You're like,
whose,
I
whose
started
dick are you
this.
sucking?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It was so frustrating because you'd think up this really cool original idea, and then you just watch it populate throughout the entire, community, and it was
Yeah.
just frustrating.
Yeah. But it's one of those things, it's like, there's no new idea under the sun. But, and
Yeah.
I think like, but now I'm just like, now I can kind of see it as a form of flattery, except for the catfishes. That's not flattery.
Nope.
That's just stealing. Stop it.
Don't do that.
And, but I look at it now as kind of like, oh, you liked what I did and you took an idea and you said, but back when I was young, I was just like so protective of everything that was mine because I felt like I didn't have anything and I had to like hold on to this thing.
Yeah.
And it would just feel like a personal attack, right? If someone like starts to do the thing that you're doing and they
Right.
don't acknowledge you or anything,
Mhm.
And now I'm just like, oh, that's dumb. Who cares?
Well, it feels like lazy, because
It
if you have
does,
taken
yeah.
the time to create something,
Yes.
then someone else is just like, oh, I'll take that. Thank you. When you're not
Yeah.
doing something like that, I
Yeah.
think that's where it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But like we said before, so many people come for personality. And
Yeah.
so even if someone's doing the same action, it's not you doing it. So
No.
they'd
Yeah.
always
And that
come back
might
to
just-
me,
yep.
Yeah,
So
It'll be
exactly.
for a brief moment, but that's all.
yeah, yeah. I was like,
That's
I knew
all.
you'd be back.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's one of those things like if you stay true to who you are, like
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
fine. People grow and people change, and you're not gonna hold on to every fan forever. Just like every person, it's
No.
like some
Yeah.
people are just like those temporary little placeholders in your life,
Yeah.
and I feel like everybody has a reason that they come into your life,
Mhm.
and it's like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean they're there forever, but it was some type of impact that you needed.
Yeah, you learn something from it or whatever. And
Yeah.
I think the fact that I had been gone for so long and I came back and anyone remembered me was so lovely and wonderful. And I think so much of it had to do with building that community over 7 years
Mhm.
and being really authentically myself.
Yeah.
Throughout all of it, I considered maybe doing a persona or
Yeah.
something, but I just never, was way too lazy to do that. That would have been really tough. So I just was myself, maybe a little elevated, maybe a
Mhm.
little bit performery, but I love that.
Yeah.
And so I think people resonate with that when you are kind of yourself,
I
whether you're
think-
weird or whatever.
I think one of the cool things with Cam is that it does give you a license to like, for instance, it's like you said, like you have to over animate and stuff, but that's still a part of you. It's just like a part that you get to like push out there even more, a part that you don't get to use very often. When do you get to use that like playful, happy, like young feeling persona, like just in your day-to-day life? It's fun to just like turn it off for a while and be like, we're playing games and shaking boobies tonight. Like, it's, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and so it's just a different piece of your personality, and that's not you like 24/7.
No,
but it's like
it's
you have,
close.
me too. I know. Don't tell anybody.
I mean,
When
I was
you
like-
said playing games and shaking boobies, I was thinking shake and bake.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake, baby.
Shake and bake.
But yeah, like, and Cam is so fun that way because it's kind of just, I feel like it was a lot of like YouTube, but with tits.
But with
you know what I
tits,
mean? Because it's like, you know, you have your little community, you have your, you know, your crew, or you know, whatever it is that you call, you know, the people that you talk to every single day, and they get excited about the games, or you know, if you do something cool, they'll ask you to bring it back, and you're like, oh, they like the thing, and you get like that direct like feedback.
Immediate feedback. Yeah. I really liked all of it. I remember someone likening it to like you go to your favorite bar and there's a hot bartender and everybody kind of talks to each other a little bit, but they also want the attention of the bartender, and they tip the bartender, and so it's kind of like that, but with like pussy fucking.
Yeah. I like the pussy fucking
Me
part,
too.
if
I
I'm
mean,
honest. And we are over 10 minutes in, and I'm sure I've already sworn before this, and I'm sorry, David, but
Oh gosh,
it is
sorry,
what
was
it
I not
is.
supposed to?
No, don't worry
Sorry,
about it.
David.
I always tell David that I'm going to try to remember, and then I always forget, and then I remember part of the way through, and I'm like, oh,
Oh yeah.
here we are.
Oopsies.
I don't know. How do you feel like that things have changed for you with the industry, like coming back into it? How does it feel like different for you?
Well, there wasn't OnlyFans before. So that was, and I had heard about it, you know, in the wild, in the normal world, which was really exciting because there was such a stigma against adult work. People didn't even know what camming was when I said it before, or I wouldn't tell people what I did for a living. And so coming back in and having heard OnlyFans, and that people I knew, you know, I worked at a restaurant for a little bit while I was doing real estate, and there was a girl there that had an OnlyFans. And so I was quietly excited that at least it was kind of seeping into the mainstream, this idea of kind of normal people doing sex work, which we're normal, but you get it.
But have you heard about all the stuff recently about like people getting fired from their jobs for
Oh,
finding
I'm
out they have
sure.
OnlyFans, or like being stopped from volunteering at their kids' school because
Oh
they have
yeah,
an
there's
OnlyFans
still the
page?
stigma. Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because I feel like before you only used to hear about stuff like that happening within a smaller group, like tight-knit group of people, and now it's even more people are doing it and just like out there with it, and so now that's even becoming more talked about publicly.
Yeah.
Through
And
everywhere.
even though there's so many types of creators, like how could they do that? Like there's
It's
just
there's some creators who are just
judgmental.
like artists, and they'll just like paint stuff, or even like paint erotic art, and so people will subscribe for that or something. But I know that there's
All
content creators
types.
who aren't even nude, you know, so it's like, how can you really,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think the majority of people, when you hear OnlyFans, they think adult.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why it's so crazy that they tried to make it not adult for a second. That was 2 weeks after I got back in the industry.
Yeah.
So they were
It's
like, I'm so sorry,
ridiculous.
everything's on fire. I know you're back, but like.
It's like when Playboy was like, hey, let's not put boobies in here anymore. That's going to go great. It's like, well.
Cute. Oh,
not
that's
so
what they're all
much.
here for. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean it's not just the articles?
Yeah.
You mean you're not coming on these articles? Oh my god.
So yeah, the landscape had totally changed. I came back in and didn't really cam.
Yeah.
So it's like I could do OnlyFans, and then I had really, really loved doing the pro studio work back like the last year and a half or so that I was in the industry. I would do like work for Kink and you know, and so I was like, well, I'll do some of that too. And it was a little bit slow going, so I got an agent, and then I think it's like half of my business is now like pro work and half of it's OnlyFans. So it's really nice because not only does the pro work feed into the OnlyFans, so if a shoot goes out, someone will look me up, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then, of course, OnlyFans, you get all the behind the scenes of all the pro work. So it kind of feeds into each other. But if one kind of dips a little bit, I can pick up the other. So it does feel at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
It's nice to
so
have
it's-
that good balance.
It's almost a completely different business model than what I had before, but it's great.
Oh,
I like it.
I know how that goes. The whole camming
Yeah.
thing. It's like, oh, here's this basket, and here's all my eggs. You know what I mean?
Aren't they so great? Please tip me for them.
You like to see my eggs?
It is. That's so scary. I mean, you were on such a
was-
roll though with camming, like all the top 20 stuff. And
I was terrified constantly because it was like, well, I was in a situation where it was like, no matter how much money I earned, it wasn't enough. And then the end of the year would come, and it's like, where'd the money go?
oh yeah, I didn't save any when I left the industry.
Where'd the money go?
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't even have like, I don't even know, set up things the way that I should for the business because I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to like fully make those decisions to, do things outside of just that. And the second I started doing things outside of just camming, the problems that were already there, like,
just
10.
magnified.
Because it's like, oh, now there's other people seeing and viewing this and like seeing a situation and there's feedback. So that's when things got like real dark.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. But now it's like OnlyFans is cool because it's like there is a little bit of separation where now it's fun to stream because now it's like, well, now I get to sit in the DMs. I don't have to like be done up all the time. I don't have to like be on all the time.
With a show.
I can
like,
be on
you
mentally
need
and
to
I
make
can
money
be,
for.
sexting with people. I can be talking to everybody, but I could just be there dressed like this
Yeah.
with my hand on my pants eating Cheetos and
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Drinking
dance.
liquid IV.
That's right.
Hey.
Delicious.
So
Yes.
delicious. So hydrating.
Actually, did you get yours?
No, it's still.
Laura,
in the
would
room.
you like to tell her about liquid IV?
Oh, yes. Actually, I was like,
And
I
then
got
you
it.
can go grab mine. I was drinking it and then left.
So this is your first time trying Liquid IV, correct?
Yeah.
So exciting. So we love Liquid IV. They're one of our sponsors for the podcast. So if you want to order any, you have a chance to get 15% off and free shipping when you use code TWND. It has all the vitamins, all the Bs.
Yes, all the Bs.
B3, B5, B6, B12, vitamin C.
That's correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
and it just
B's and C's.
it tastes delicious.
Yeah, it's really good.
This is the mocktail version. Which one?
The
Cucumber
cucumber.
mojito?
Yeah, that was really nice. And
One of my favorites. And you don't miss the alcohol. You know, it's tasty.
I
It's
don't.
hydrating. You feel amazing. You definitely notice a difference when you run out of your Liquid IV because we have a fan who
Oh, yeah, Mark.
actually, Mark.
He called in and he said that he was trying it and he was feeling great and then he ran out and he went to the doctor because he wasn't feeling well and he was dehydrated.
And he
Oh.
said now he
We were
will
like, no
never,
shit.
ever run out of
Yeah.
Liquid IV.
Yeah.
We
So
were
it's like a cool thing. And I'm like, okay, this stuff does do stuff. I love it. It's the bomb. And it is
Perfect
15% off. We
Yeah.
use code TWND.
TWND. So you can
everybody-
support the show and
Yeah.
we would really appreciate it because all my eggs are no longer in one basket.
Yeah, we love that.
Nice.
Thank you for that short message from Liquid IV.
Thank you, Liquid IV. Liquid IV loves porn stars. Anyway,
They keep you real wet.
they keep you wet. So that's something actually to talk about because the whole mocktail thing,
Yeah.
sobriety.
I love talking
How's-
about my sobriety.
How's sobriety?
It's so great. It'll be 7 years without any alcohol in
Oh,
April.
shit.
April 17th.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a long
Yeah.
time.
Coming on up.
Yeah.
Happy early anniversary.
Thank you very much.
Love it.
Yeah, each year I make the same joke, and it's not funny. Of like, what are you gonna do? We'll get wasted. It's not. You don't have to laugh. That was polite.
I like. I like it
Okay.
because I make jokes like that.
Yeah, it's a
all the
little
time.
dark. A little
Yeah.
dark. But it was
amazing.
such a great decision for me, and I just realized that was the only way to be in charge of all my decisions,
Yeah.
right? Because every so often I'd black out and just make decisions I wouldn't have made sober. And
Yeah.
so once I realized it was like a light switch, and
Mm-hmm.
I really feel fortunate that I didn't have the physiological dependency on it, so I didn't feel like like my body needed it. But if
Yeah.
I got tipsy, we were going all the way, and
Yeah,
that
it
didn't
was-
necessarily go great.
No, it was always just like, yeah, it's just a drink, and then it's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm an alcoholic, so this has no effect on me. How about 4 more?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe
there was
a
no
fifth.
decision making
No.
as
After
a
the
part
first
of it.
one,
You were
it's
like,
just
well,
like,
this is fun, so maybe more would be fun. Well, I mean, of course,
listen,
yeah.
more would be more fun.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
More.
And you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it. And, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
black out and
Yeah.
you wake up, covered in puke.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually never
I don't know
puked
if
from
I
alcohol.
puked. You never puked from alcohol?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I would every time I was hungover. Maybe not in bed, but like every single time. And I
Nope.
would get horrible
I
hangovers.
do not puke.
You just in general? You're not a puker?
Nope.
Not
I
even.
remember on my 21st birthday, I got blackout. Well, I don't remember.
I remember, but I don't.
You were
remember.
told.
Oh, I was told.
You were
I
schmammered.
was blackout wasted. Apparently, I had to be like dragged home. Like I couldn't walk.
Wow.
Like just ridiculous. And my ex at the time told me the story about kicking me in the stomach on the side of the road to try to make me throw up, and I wouldn't throw up.
That's not the way to help.
It's not.
Ah.
What do you mean?
Oh, you don't kick people in the stomach?
That's what I do every time. I'm just like, you need to throw up.
There you go.
Just put a finger down. I don't like that. I swear.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah. That is wild.
But yeah, no, just throwing up, not a thing for me. It would just be like, I would wake up feeling like shit, right? And then I would use feeling like shit to justify what a piece of shit I was and get me through my day, like forcing myself to do things to make up for what a piece of shit I was. And then I would celebrate by drinking at the end of the day.
Wow, what a weird, sad cycle of
Yeah,
punishment,
isn't
and
it?
then and
I did
celebration.
so good. Let me fuck up my life.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
so
like, it's the end of the day and I'm alone with my thoughts again. Better get drunk.
I never felt like I used it to escape or to like push down any feelings. It was always just like adrenaline chasing or like the feeling of like, ooh, what could happen tonight? I don't know. Like maybe something crazy.
Mystery.
Yeah, it was like this exciting kind of thing. And now I just use porn for that. But you know.
I had a
Hey.
point like that, like with camming. That's what it was like for me. Like when I'd go to like the cam socials or AVN, it was just that, oh, it's excitement, it's adrenaline. I need to like, drink, and it wouldn't be bad. It was like it got to a point with drinking, especially when I was going through my divorce, that it became, it was like using it to just get through the day
To
and
get
like
it,
not
not have
think
to
about
sit with
anything.
all
But
of
with
your
camming,
thoughts.
it was like a hype thing.
With camming, it was like a hype thing, and sometimes it was one of those things too. My ex was an alcoholic, so it was one of those things where if you've ever been in a relationship with an alcoholic, if they are drinking, they need to justify that they're drinking by including you in that.
Mhm.
So if you're not going to drink with them, then it's going to be a fight. Like one way or the other,
Oh, that's
there's going to
rough.
be a thing. So you might as well
Because
just
they'll
drink.
get drunk and be like, "Why did you drink?" or something.
Yeah, like, why do you never want to drink with me?
Yeah.
Or any of whatever
No
stuff.
thanks.
And so
Because they need to feel okay about the fact that they're doing it.
Yes.
Is that okay? That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And so for me, it just became that. And then with camming, like we talked about, it's so easy to just make money getting drunk.
You could
like,
charge for shots, and then you kind of loosen up, and they're excited to see you be a little bit,
Yeah.
it was fun.
Yeah. And it could be so fun. It just got to the point that even with camming, like I think like, and especially towards the end of my relationship when things got real bad, I was like hiding drinking on cam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like there was a certain point with drinking and camming, which I don't think I've ever talked about, where I would want at least 2 shots before I got on cam. And it was like I justified it with like, well, it kind of loosens me up, but it makes me a little horny. But at a certain point, you're like, wait a second, would I be able to do this
Like
without that?
to
Maybe
put on that on.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really proud of like all of the shoots that I've done have been completely sober. And so that like at least it never kind of bled into that side of it,
Not
just
being
in my
able to
home.
work. Yeah, not being able to work. Or like it like
Yeah.
being your handicap, but it's not. 'cause
Right.
That's not the case. You're amazing.
Yeah.
You know how to, you got this.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah, like it's good to know that like my sexuality is not just fueled by alcohol.
Right. Or I'm so comfortable in it.
Yes.
And especially because
That you
I'm
don't
like
need it to
basically
loosen
meeting
up.
strangers and being like, okay, I'm gonna like have your dick near
Let's
me soon,
go.
And I have a little bit of a kink for that, so it kind of works out. But I never needed that to have a sexual experience. Like I had plenty of sexual experiences when drunk and out partying and
Yeah.
threesomes with girlfriends, and you'd go out with cam girls and
Yeah.
you'd all make out at the bar and stuff. And it does take away that fear of rejection. So at least I guess with work you don't have that fear of rejection.
Yeah.
You're like, we are signed up for this.
We're
We're
here
both
to
getting
work.
paid to have sex with each other.
Yes,
So
fantastic.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Now take your pants off.
Now let me touch your penis.
Oh my god, I love it. I something else I noticed with I guess more like mainstream performers as well, or even people who do both, is that there's a lot less pettiness
yeah.
between, because you're not competing for fans.
Right.
like, I
it's like a strip club you're competing within the same room. Camming you're competing within the same site. And then porn stuff you're competing for like the companies to hire you. But in all places, you're a certain look. And so if someone doesn't want a 37-year-old MILF that's redhead, like I'm not going to get that part, and I'm not going to be upset with somebody else.
Exactly.
For that,
You're like, that just wasn't my role. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot more like understanding, and people are just more chill. And I know that of course there's still drama. There's drama everywhere. But
Yeah,
it
sure.
seems so much less to me after like coming out of the MFC cave, like, is anyone out here? Like, and now it's like, oh, you know, people are
I mean, maybe, and
Wilson.
as I'm getting older,
that was Ian. He was my Wilson. Oh shit. No,
I just picture you.
like coming out.
it was a good face as you were coming out of it too.
Yeah.
You're like,
This is so animated. I
Yeah.
just can't
It
help
was
it
good.
sometimes.
It was good. It served you well, I think.
Thank you.
So animated.
Very weird.
Yeah, I didn't really deal with a lot of drama on MFC for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I kind of stayed out of things. And I wonder if now I'm not seeing a lot of drama in kind of the porn world, maybe because I'm older too, you know, that I just, and I'm so busy and career focused that I don't have, even though I work with a lot of like people in like their early 20s because I'm everyone's stepmom. I just don't like if there's stuff on Twitter or there's I just stay so far out of it because I'm
that's
just
not fun.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the reason I had any drama was because anybody who met my ex didn't like him, and he created. I think that there was just a lot of issues that stem from that, and then it was kind of like by association. And I know that he would like to. It was one of those situations where he would like to say things about certain people that he had heard them say that they had said to him, and it's like, I didn't talk to anybody outside of him. So it's like if I'm being fed something that's whatever I think is information because I'm just so dumb, like,
and you're believing
blind.
it.
Yes,
I mean,
of course.
that doesn't make you dumb. Like you were manipulated into this situation.
Yeah, but it
you know?
feels dumb now looking at the situation as a whole. But when you're going through it, you don't even realize it's happening. I
No,
guess.
you have full trust.
But post, I'm just like, what are you doing? You know, like, you can't do it. But I think that now that there's that situation gone, I feel like it's been a lot more easier to branch out and like connect with people because people will stay around a little longer.
Yeah.
Go figure.
That's so
right? Like,
nice.
is that how it works? Oh,
Do you feel like your friendships changed when you got sober? Like
Yes.
any kind of realizations around like this is why I'm hanging out with this person?
Yeah.
Like, I had
Yeah. And then when I went through therapy, it was like even more apparent with like a lot of relationships that I picked up, and I say that just like friendships, business relationships, anything that were similar to my ex. It was kind of like one of those, I fell right into that same kind of like
Cycle.
narcissist cycle of like, oh, this isn't quite as bad as this, so let's invest all my time and energy and love into this, and then oh, that one fucked up, what about this one? And it's like yeah.
You didn't realize like how good it could be, so you were like settling for
I
this
was
like level that was better than your old thing,
Yeah,
but
this
still
isn't
not red flag city. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it was one of those situations where when I started thinking that I had a problem, I would bring it up and I would be like, well, you don't have a problem. He had a problem. Like you're just living your life, and like you don't have a problem. Like you're still working and you're still doing this. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I do have a problem. Glug glug. Well, she says it's okay, and he said it's okay, so I guess I'll just get drunk tonight. No one cares about me.
Oh, that got dark.
It often does.
which is why she does.
Sorry, it's
do it
okay. You
anymore.
can laugh
Like,
about it.
yay.
We talked about this earlier. I graduated therapy, so apparently I'm healed and I'm okay now. So I can laugh.
That
about
happened
it.
with me where my therapist told me, I feel like I would just be your cheerleader at this point. So like, why don't you come to me when you have another issue?
Yes.
Because it's like I saw her for like a year
Which
and a
is a
half, got
great
through some
thing,
shit. It was,
right?
I did. I felt like I graduated. It
Yeah,
was so
that's what she.
nice.
That's
Yeah.
what she told me.
Honest.
She didn't tell me I graduated.
No.
I said I graduated. She's like,
She's like, I bought my own cap and gown.
She handed her the
A little
diploma.
awkward.
she's like, I wouldn't say graduated, just not currently in need of.
Yeah.
I was like, currently, what comes later?
Oh
I'm
God.
still waiting for that point. Sometimes I'm like, it's time to go back.
Yeah.
But then it's the funny thing that I think I realized about therapy is that like you go to therapy and you go through the steps and stuff, but it doesn't necessarily fix anything. It just gives you a different perspective and way of looking at things that have happened and understanding why things are the way that they are, and better coping mechanisms to deal with the things that arise going forward.
Yeah.
But it's like you're still going to be thrust back to like those little trauma points or memories that you have about something, or something that's instilled in you, the way that you feel about yourself from whatever reason. And you can heal bits and pieces of that, but it's always a little piece of you. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
but you just know how to create that space between like the feeling and the response, like or the
Exactly.
action
Yeah.
that like and emotionally regulate yourself a little bit. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, it's life changing when you can figure that out. And I feel like your 20s are just a reaction. Like everything that
Yes,
happens to you, you're just reacting.
We've said that before.
Yeah.
I love this
Yeah.
so
Oh,
much.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
a reaction. Everything is
Yeah.
reactionary.
You're not aware. And so that's why I try and be kind to my early 20s drinking self, you know, because I was just reacting.
Yeah.
And
And-
living
and-
and learning.
Yeah,
You
and
were
now
going through the motions.
now my brain
Yeah.
is formed. so so
Final
hopefully
form.
you know, I do. It's like I feel like I have more agency over my decisions and
Sorry.
reactions.
Even camming is just reacting.
Yeah.
That's so weird because it's just, you're just sitting in a chat room
Yeah.
pretending to have conversations with the people, and like you are,
Yeah.
but no one's actually talking to you. And most of the time, you don't see anybody unless they
Yeah.
like tip for you to watch their cam, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
At least it was for me. But
Yeah.
like, you're just literally sitting there reacting to everything that
Words.
everyone is putting on you, like
On
no
the
matter if
screen.
it's good or bad or whatever.
that's
It's all
true.
just reactionary.
Yeah.
That's
And that's why I think
Nonstop.
some people hate it. Some people are like, what do I do if the room's empty, if no one's talking? And I'll have a full on conversation with myself.
Yeah.
And
I will
just,
too,
it,
yeah.
it
I'm
is.
like, where's my microphone? I'll start a podcast.
I'm like, oh, I'm on a stage again. This
Oh,
is
fantastic.
terrible.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I hate it here.
Yeah.
Everyone look at me. Thank you.
Do you find yourself to be an exhibitionist just in general?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, same. What about you?
Tell her
Wait.
about, like, can you talk about this at the show you just went to recently? How you were like,
I don't know what you're talking about. Help
Makes me
me.
more
me.
interested.
the show you went to, Steel Panther.
Oh,
Wanna
Oh,
talk
Steel
about
Panther's
this or
so
no?
fun.
Like,
Oh.
I
this is
saw them
such a
years ago.
It just sounded like the
It was so
coolest show
fun.
It's so
ever,
much fun.
And
I'm
like,
just wondering,
all
what did
these
I do
people-
at Steel Panther? Did I black out again?
She is sober.
Oh, I know
I
it was
know-
a joke, but I wanted
You
to.
wanted to go?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
isn't that part
I
of
was
it?
We're in
Yeah.
a balcony.
She
She
was
was at a
so
Steel
turned
Panther. They have a
on.
song
Yeah.
called Glory Hole, for fuck's sake. Of course I wanted to suck my
Yes.
man's cock, okay?
She was so
I didn't.
turned
Yeah.
on.
I was.
Yeah. Have
And
you seen the
yes.
music video for that too? It's amazing. Yeah.
It's all
so
great.
good.
And I
It's
have
so
never
good.
heard of them until she introduced me to them.
Yeah.
So I was like,
We played them at
love
AVN.
this.
Shout out Steel Panther.
I love this. But
Amazing.
me personally, I mean, I've been known to have a little fun at the drive-in. You know, that's like pretty, in public.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Naughty, naughty.
so if you're in a situation and there are like people having sex, would you rather be watching them or would you rather be the one having sex in front of people?
Oh, watching.
Watching.
Yeah.
Okay. But it turns you on to watch?
Having.
No, but
It
like, I
doesn't
mean,
really-
I'm not.
yeah,
It
same.
doesn't really do anything.
That doesn't really do anything for me either. Like watching is kind of like, that's nice. But
Yeah,
if
but
I'm not the one
I'm not
doing
the one
it.
jumping in at any time. So,
Yeah,
unless it's
yeah.
with my man. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, that's fair.
I'll
too,
jump in
yeah.
on that.
But would you want people to watch you do that?
No, I don't really think I have
Yeah.
a desire for that.
I
but
only want
hey.
people to watch me naked. I don't want people to look at me when I have my clothes on.
Don't watch this
Don't
video
watch
right
YouTube.
now.
Just listen. Listen only.
And imagine me naked, please. Thanks.
Yeah.
To those audio listeners right now, I want you to imagine me with my tits out right now. Rubbing my nipples. So,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I was gonna go into full porn voice. Oh my god. Yeah. Yes, Tony. Yeah. If I ever do that in a video, you know I've given up on all of life. On all of fucking life. I was in LA. I was in LA and I was at a model house, and so they were filming outside of my bedroom, and I was, whatever, and it was a step scene, right? Because everything's a step scene, like a stepbrother, stepsister. And I heard from the other side of the wall, it was just over and over again for probably 2 full minutes. Fuck me, stepbro, fuck me, stepbro, fuck me, like that. And it just kept going on and on and on and on. And I was like, this is the only dialogue that's happening. And I'm sure it was like every stroke, like every like, no. It was like a weird mantra. And eventually I heard the director cut and be like, so here's some other dialogue options. And then they started it again and she went, right into it. It was
Oh,
amazing. And I
God.
mean, it's it's hard to think of dialogue. I get it,
Yeah.
but it was pretty funny. Where I was like, that's the one you chose.
That's when you cue in the guy doing the audio. I'm like, can you cut that and then cut the head out of the scene so
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
see
yeah.
the mouth movement?
Yeah.
And
We'll
you
just
see the
insert someone
thrusting.
else's moaning.
Someone else.
here.
Yeah,
Someone
and
else like,
we'll
oh
just-
God, stepbrother. Please do it again.
Can you help me with my math homework?
Yeah, exactly.
I just laughed so loud into the microphone.
That's the story of my life. I'm always like,
Means you're having a good time.
we are. And my cheeks always hurt at the
Yeah,
end
I
too
love
from
that.
laughing.
I
and-
know.
Yeah.
I
great.
just like laugh. It's so funny. I laugh so hard I cry like so often now
That's the
in my life.
best. Or
and
where
I
your like
love
abs
it.
hurt. You're like it's like almost
Yeah.
like an ab workout.
love
You
it.
laugh so hard. Yeah.
When we have content days, like by the end of the day, I'm
My-
just like I don't even need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
and my throat's always fucked at the end. I'm like,
Well,
do you have a
cough
cough
drops at
drop?
the end of the day.
Yeah, because it's like
so
raw
dumb.
and it's like
That's what
It's
happens
so
at the end of
dumb.
content days with me too. Oh,
I
throat. I was like, I'm just saying. It's not from laughing, my dear. That's so
I
great,
love it.
though.
So
I
you
love that you
always
guys have
have-
so much fun.
you always have cough drops on hand, and I
No,
take it.
so here's a trick, a porn trick that I don't know if anyone knows, but it's the Act
Notes.
mouthwash lozenges that are for dry mouth. And so if you have one like while they're taking stills or whatever, and then when you do the blowjob, it is like dripping wet, sloppy.
Which
And so
one?
that-
What is
what is this?
I used
So-
Listerine strips
So
before.
the Act mouthwash, it's for
They have
dry mouth, or they have a
tabs.
spray too, but they also have like a lozenge, and so you can just kind of suck on that while you're taking the stills. Because I have dry mouth sometimes, and you're like,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
I
how graphic we
partake
can
in the
get.
420 activities, so I
Yeah,
need
so then
that.
it's
I don't know how
really
I have
helpful.
so much spit because I do that too.
I know she's Spider-Man with her spit.
I
Like, it's
love that. Oh, and it's like
stringy and
stringy, messy.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I think I've told this
basically-
before, but you know Alex Cole. And
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen
yeah,
her
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Just wanted to
What?
check if I had a message from her, but
Oh, yeah.
not yet. I don't think. No, we're good. Okay. Oh, sorry. We did a scene together, so she wants some spit to put on in my, hoo-ha, and so
Ding
she
dong.
dips it on in and then pulls it out, and it just keeps coming. And so she starts spidering around her finger. She's like, "What?" And it's just like Spider-Man,
Like through the webs of your fingers.
Oh my god.
That's amazing. I mean, that's great that you don't even need any of that.
I attribute it to liquid IV. I think.
I agree.
Yeah, I drink a lot of that.
And it helps
Yeah.
make you. Yeah, it helps with your saliva
Mhm,
production.
just the hydration alone. you
And
know.
the vitamins.
and the
I-
vitamins. The vitamins are great for
vitamins.
It's
GWND.
B
coach.
vitamins also good
Yeah.
for D. If you
Very good for
stupid.
I love your work right here.
Thank
This is
you.
so dope. When did you get this done?
Like maybe 2 years ago now, I think, or
Is this
a
an
little bit.
elephant?
It is an
Oh,
elephant.
he's so cool.
Thank you. It is
Obsessed.
it's this little stuffed animal that I have, this little flat elephant stuffed animal. It's the only thing I've saved from my childhood. I don't really get attached to things very often. And I got it when I hit my chin on the nightstand because I got in trouble when I was a little girl, like maybe 4 years old. And I hit my chin and I needed to go to the hospital to get stitches. And so my family was like really close. My parents were still together. And the nurse gave me this little elephant because I didn't cry when I got stitches. And so I was very proud of this for too long. And
Yes.
and
I
then
love it.
and then my tattoo artist Archie Bronson in Seattle, he does a lot of like glitchy horror work, but
Yeah.
I wanted him to glitch it because I don't have a relationship with my mom because of porn anymore, and so it's like this wonderful, beautiful, nostalgic thing that's colorful and makes me happy, but it's a little glitched.
I love this. And he did your whole piece.
He did my
here?
whole piece. Yeah, this was
Amazing.
a cover up. I had a different tattoo when I knew
Yeah.
you, like I
So
knew you, like we've ever met.
pretty.
But it's
Yeah,
one of those things about Cam. It's true.
Yeah.
Like when you meet someone that it's what do they call that now? The parasocial type thing. Because
Parasocial
it's-
relationship, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you see someone for so many years and you consume their content. Like
Okay, but at least it's a
see it
little
on the
more
Cam.
mutual though than
It
like, you know what I
is.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
than-
for sure. Than viewing, but
yeah.
it is that similar type situation where
Yeah.
it's like you're in
You
the
feel
same
like you know.
business.
Yeah.
You kind
Yeah.
of talk online, and it's like
It's
I
like
really
homies.
wanted to go to one of your camp mention things. I really did.
I would have loved to have you.
Yeah. Would have been fun.
Well, you
Yeah.
can do it now.
Hey, I
Well,
would. Oh my God, it was so much to organize those
Hey.
events.
Yeah,
It
I
was
bet.
such a big thing, and it was really helpful to have my like business partner at the time doing all of that. But I remember the first one I did that, because now people do collab houses and events all the time, but at the time there really wasn't anything for
Yeah.
the cam community. And I remember like dry heaving. I was so anxious the first time. I was so worried because everyone was going to watch it, and and if the Wi-Fi was bad or if the girls didn't get along, like I was so scared.
Yeah.
So scared.
It's terrifying to put
Yeah.
on any sort of event.
Yeah.
I mean, even just like a house party, man. Like,
right?
It's so much
It's like that times.
responsibility.
Yeah.
It's just the nerves. I was so nervous like before you came over today. I asked
What?
Laura.
Really?
I had to stretch. I was like, yeah, just
Well,
because.
because she knew you, but she didn't know
But I didn't
you,
know you.
but she knew you.
Oh.
And I'm like, well,
That's one of the
just-
reasons I do the podcast, because it forces
it's
me to
gonna
go
be
outside.
fine.
Oh, of
Well,
your like comfort
Yeah,
zone.
because
Yeah. Oh.
I don't otherwise. It's one of those things. I've talked to Alex about this before, because
Yeah.
we always keep reminding each other to reach out to each other, like, you're not bothering me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I
if
do the
people-
same thing with
if-
Alex.
If people
Yeah.
if people don't reach out to me, I assume no one wants to talk to me.
Yeah, no, and
So
that's
I just
not-
sit in my bubble and I'm like, I'll just work.
Yeah.
And not think about the fact that no one wants to talk to me, instead of like reaching out like a normal person and being
Yeah.
like, what's going on?
But then there's that fear of that someone's looking at your text and being like, ugh, this
yes,
person.
that's where
Right.
I go with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I doubt that. You seem lovely.
She is. She's a
Yeah.
lovely person.
But it is, it's just a fear everybody. Well, I guess not everybody has that. But some people do.
But that's such a huge thing that you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Like the only times I've really felt like I've grown is when I've done that.
Yeah.
And I'll do something where I am afraid of it and I'll just be like, I'll deal with that later when it comes up, but I'm going to say yes to it now.
Yeah. It's one of those things, because it's like, I feel like I have a lot of FOMO now in life, because I did just cam for so many, like the majority of my career. And now that I'm like, oh, there's other things. It's like I want to do other things. So every time someone is like, you want to do this? I'm like, yes. and then I reach the time of all these things coming up, and I'm like, oh, there's so much to do for the next 3 weeks.
That's us
Yep.
every month.
Yeah.
Every month I do it
And
to
then-
myself.
Yep.
Every month.
Because it sounds like a good idea. And so I've been dealing with that too, because I've just gotten so busy that I literally can only think about the next day or 2 days ahead. So I schedule out my calendar and then I go, I will deal with it. I'll get the
Yep.
wardrobe I need. I'll do this like when it comes up, because I just don't have the time for it. So I've started to try and do the fuck yes or no thing,
Yeah.
where if I'm not like fuck yes about it, I should probably say no, because I don't even have any time for myself
That's
at this
great.
point.
Yeah.
So this was a fuck yes, by the way. So.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
I'm really glad. It was. I was so happy when you came up on TikTok. I was just like, oh.
It was so crazy to see you too, because like you had always been really successful in camming, but the way that you've blown up on TikTok and how like funny and authentic you come across is really inspiring. So it's like nice to come back in and see that there are still people doing what that I knew them for like forever ago, but also doing it well or better even than before.
Well,
So that
thank
was cool.
you.
Yeah.
That's hard. If you ask TikTok at the moment, they would not agree with
Oh,
you.
fuck TikTok. What were we talking about? TikTok?
Fuck your towels.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is like it's kind of funny, because I feel like the times that I'm the most genuine about something is like I'm just I'm overly animated. I just am. I don't know if you've ever watched this podcast or any of my streams or anything,
think
or
it's
seen me in
good,
real
yeah.
life.
Do you know her?
But then people like, nobody really acts like that, and I'm just like, I'm sorry that I
Yeah.
do. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I'm weird. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Interesting.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, hey.
He's.
I'm sorry I haven't been completely broken. I was for a while. I recommend therapy if you don't know how to have fun. So try it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Better help.
Better
Is that a
looking for a
sponsor
spot-
too?
No,
No,
I wish.
Oh,
that
that'd
would
be
be
so
cool.
cool.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be a nice
No,
one.
we actually have to get our numbers up if we want to have sponsors. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
Things have been a lot better since Avian.
And
We've almost doubled in numbers.
That's
but
exciting.
But from what the numbers I'm seeing and from what I've heard recently about podcast sponsorships, we got to double it again if we want to look
Yeah,
at
so
some
please,
real
people
sponsors.
call.
Share with a friend.
Yes.
Share with performers, because I definitely want to get more performers on here as
Yeah,
well, because
yeah.
everybody everybody has so many interesting stories, and it's just like there's always so many different ways to relate to people and stuff,
Yeah.
and you have good connections. And so yeah, just share. With
Also,
Yeah,
call the
absolutely.
Google Voice number.
How exciting.
That's
So
one.
so we have a new Google Voice number. Anchor.fm/TWND was where people were leaving voice messages before. Please do not do that anymore because we probably won't ever hear them because we're only doing Google Voice now. So it's 702
Google.
900 6446. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Cool. So call that number. You can leave your voicemail, but we do have email.
Fun.
So this is actually perfect segue point because I mentioned it to you before. We have a write-in. Two, actually. We'll get to John
Ooh.
Saul's news story momentarily. Remind me about the news story. You have to remind me.
702-900-6446.
That is correct.
Call us.
Leave
Look at me
us a
trying to
voice message.
memorize it
Call
as you're saying.
us,
I'm like, yeah,
y'all.
you're just like, got it.
8675309. No, that's
All
not
right.
the number.
No, don't call that one.
So, want her name? Anonymous. Okay. So this is from Anonymous. Where should I start? Hi, I am a 26-year-old girl who wants to start in the porn industry but doesn't know how to. Where should I start? What are some things you would have wanted to know when you started in the industry? By the way, I love your podcasts. Thank you for making them and talking about interesting, important, and funny stuff. I'm still unsure about this and want to remain anonymous for now.
How
So
exciting.
that is exciting. So what kind of advice would you give to someone who's starting?
So I think probably the most important thing is to find the community, especially of women, and kind of get that support and see how other people are doing things first. I think Twitter is probably, unless you have somewhere else, the best place to find everybody who's doing it because it's the last social media that lets you put explicit content on there. So I feel like that's a really good place to start, and it's also great to be able to market yourself there.
Wasn't there if you're looking at camming is often a decent introduction. I feel like it sounds like from the email that she's not entirely certain, and if you're
Yeah.
not entirely certain, also make sure before you even get naked on camera anywhere that you are certain, because my first line of advice is always to anyone who's like, I might be in porn, think about it, because your options become very limited the second you take off your clothes on camera and post it
It's
online.
forever. It's online forever.
Forever.
And I was really glad that I started at 25. Because
brain more fully
my
formed.
brain was more fully formed. And, and I had other jobs that didn't pay super well. And so I had a real appreciation for the kind of money you can make with it too, and I just had a greater understanding of the impact of this kind of work. And it impacts your entire future.
Yes.
Even though I think there's less of a stigma now, there still is
There
one.
still is.
And it can be just such wonderful, empowering work, but it isn't easy. It takes a lot of consistency, and you have to truly love to do it. You want to be able to post every day, those kind of things. So OnlyFans and camming, I think, are kind of good, like dip your toe in.
A good dip your toe in for sure. Just know that whatever you do post, it will be online forever. That's my number one starter. And if you're like, hey, I'm good with that, I really want to do this, I'm super hypersexual, I want to fucking make content, I want to do all the stuff, I want to take dicks or like dildos or whatever you want to do, awesome.
You want Pickle Rick? Awesome.
Okay,
But-
Pickle Rick's a little bit.
but something great to do is to try to start building your own fan base before you do something like going mainstream, because then there is more demand for you in mainstream. If you already have a following that you can bring to someone's platform, even if you're just looking to work with other creators, if you have something to kind of bring to the table with that, then that's going to push you a lot further than just getting an agent who's like, hey, maybe for your first scene, if you want people to know who you are, you should do a triple anal. Like, don't do that. So it's cool to kind of have that autonomy to be able to self-represent and decide what you want your brand to be. And if you do need your hand held through that and you're not really sure, then having someone like an agent or a management company, I'm sure, could probably be a great asset. I've just personally heard not great stories from a lot of people about that, especially if they're just starting out and they don't necessarily have their own backing behind them. And if you're not really certain of all the steps and go-betweens with that, you can get taken advantage of without really realizing it until
Right.
it might be a little too late.
That's why it really helps to talk to different performers and ask them about their agencies. You know, I didn't know what I was getting into when I got an agent, but I was older when I did it, you know, like 36, 37. And so I haven't had any bad experiences about kind of being pushed around, or because nobody tells me what to do. I mean, I'm too old.
Yeah, of course.
So I know that I'm booked for different sites than the ones that are like, you know, teens or like it's her first time. So you want to make sure that you're with a company that is truly vetting the people that they're sending you to, that it's a legitimate website. It's not just like a guy with his own camera in a hotel room.
With this like 3-day-old ball sweat, just like
Right, like
"Come here,
I'll
sweetie, let's
eventually
make a
I'll eventually
film."
have a website. Now let me suck on your toes, which is definitely things I've heard
I'm
of.
just working on getting it started. Okay, like,
I
I
need
have
to
a whole
create
team
content.
behind it, but I can't make the site until I have the content to put on the site. So just suck these nuts.
Suck these nuts. Yeah.
But as far as other things, I'm trying to think. It's always my biggest thing is kind of like if you're at the point that you're like, yes, I want to do this, then fucking do it, but do like all the research that you can.
Well, and
I
it's
guess.
so much of it is about building your own brand and building your own following, and that's where that consistency comes in. Because I've helped so many friends. They're like, "Oh, I want to start an OnlyFans. I want to do this."
Oh yeah.
And then you help them, but then if you're not posting every day, if you're not, you know, passionate about building your following, because OnlyFans doesn't market for you. You have to find a following
Yes.
on
All
Instagram
you.
or Twitter or
They
TikTok.
don't bring their own traffic.
Or
yeah.
if you do mainstream, that does bring an audience to you. So
But then what are you going to do with that audience? So it's
Right.
like make sure that you find a place to like funnel the audience that you're getting from mainstream into somewhere that's going to make you money, because
Right.
doing scenes is great and it's fun and it's a great experience, but you get that one-time fee and you never see any more of it. So
Right.
make sure that you have your own shit
and
to
it's
sell.
so much exposure. So you definitely want some sort of membership site, whether it's OnlyFans or your own website where you can sell clips, things like that, or whatever, so that you can take advantage of that when people want to Google you and say, "Oh, I want to see more of her. I want to see kind of their personality, outside
for
of just
sure.
these scenes."
Yeah. Because I feel like that's becoming more and more prevalent with things like OnlyFans or any of the different subscription sites that are popping up. And, you know, it's you look at things like Twitch or YouTube, and they also have their own different subscription tiers. And it's like, that's just more and more of what goes for entertainment these days.
Yeah.
You know, like, some of the videos that I end up making for fans are just silly ones, and they request them. And that's fun, but it's just like,
It's a personal connection,
it
right?
is,
Because when
yeah.
you can go on Pornhub and search anything and just get it for free, what is the incentive for somebody to pay you?
yes,
It's
the
because they're getting
interaction.
interaction, or they're getting something that's more explicit or more intimate than what they can find elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I would say if you're down for it, then go. But I would say maybe like, one thing I could suggest maybe is that if you have like toys and stuff and you're interested, just film yourself doing stuff before you do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like before you launch it or like get online, like see what your angles are. Because if you're down to actually do that, knowing what your angles are and what looks good for filming and playing with your light and everything ahead of time will get you from the start having better content. Because when I look back at stuff that I made when I first started on the 480p fucking webcams with like my bandaged foot and like you can't see anything. And I'm just like,
Yeah. And if you do that and you create a bunch of content, then you have a bunch of stuff to launch. That's what I did when I got onto OnlyFans coming back in the industry, is I had, like whatever 40 things of content already on there. So when people subscribe to you, they
it's not
already
just
have
an empty
things.
page.
To hit the
Right.
ground running.
Yeah, exactly. So there is some preparation involved.
Yeah. I don't know.
Totally.
Definitely prepare. Like it's one of those things that I think a lot of people, especially during like pandemic season, like joined OnlyFans because it's like, oh, just fast, quick, easy money. And that's great. And you get that, but it doesn't necessarily stick. Like
Or you might not even get
you
that.
might not even get any. You might be putting out pictures of your butthole and people are like, I'm not interested.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's
Like,
what's scary, is
and
if
then
you're
you
going
have
to
your
take
butthole
that
out there for no reason.
Right. If you're
you
going
know?
to take that leap, really think of it as a business, a butthole business.
A
is what
butthole
I
business,
call it.
yes, yes. The business
A
of the
BB.
butthole.
The BB.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Like, so
BB.
like and to do well and build that brand, like I think that a lot of people don't realize either is that like you're not just gonna necessarily go viral and just become like a lot of this is very much luck. Like I think
Right.
I've been very, very lucky with
same.
the people that I've met, the people that have chosen to follow me and
And
become
what the
fans,
market's
and what the
doing.
market wants to do.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it just depends, and most of the time you have no control over it. But it's like learning to be like, all right, so sometimes they're gonna be slow. And when I first started out, it's not like I wasn't making like jack shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it takes time to build the fan base, and some people just aren't willing to put in the time and effort that it takes to push forward. And I've seen it happen,
Yeah.
like you said, with girls that I've helped like set up their pages or cam or
Or
anything.
do something with them that they suddenly get an influx of fans and then they just
And then they don't do anything
They don't
with
do
it,
anything with
yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah. And there isn't as much of an appreciation for it when you're not building it from the ground up. When someone
Yeah.
hands you a bunch of stuff, then you go, "Oh, good, it's
Yes.
easy."
It's just like anything. Like
Yeah.
if you have to do it yourself and it's hard fucking work, it's gonna be so much more rewarding, and the
It's so much
payoff
more
is gonna
gratifying.
feel so much better than just being like, I got famous because I went viral for some reason or whatever. It's like,
And put effort.
or if you do go viral, make sure that you have shit ready to go to
Yeah,
like
no
get it out
kidding.
there, like, and be like, oh, it just so happens that I have a picture of my butthole for you.
So many butthole pictures. So many.
Can you? That would be amazing if someone's entire OnlyFans page
Was
is
just
just their butthole.
You know that
you-
exists.
like in different things.
Do you
know
guys
that
remember
exists.
cakefarts.com?
Oh, girl, cake
Talk
farts.
about
You've
cake
never
farts.
seen cake farts?
Did I see this with you? Maybe
It was
might
I don't think
have.
it exists anymore.
I might
Someone's
have seen
we
it
need to
with
Can we check
you.
for cake farts?
We're gonna
please?
check for cake
Thank you,
farts.
it's really
hold,
important.
hold for cake farts.
Please.
Hold for cake farts.
Check.
So the site
Cake
it was
farts.
these beautiful women, and it was shot really nicely. And then they would do a little dance, and then they would naked squat over like a sheet cake, and they would spread their assholes, sit in the sheet cake, and the camera would get up really close to their butthole, covered in icing, and they would
I
fart.
found it.
I'm sorry,
I
gasped
feel like
really
either
hard.
we-
I'm really excited right now. I thought it didn't
All right,
exist anymore.
Laura, you're gonna watch it live.
Okay.
I
I
feel
wanna
like.
watch your reaction.
Let's see.
I'm gonna
Play. I like how there's this back here.
I know, I don't know. Okay, you found it. Oh, yep. It's that same countertop, too. There was like one fucking dude doing it. I'm so
We
excited.
need full screen.
I know, I'm so excited.
I love these headsets because I can just come
Why
over
does it
here.
have to be a chocolate cake, is all I'm asking.
I've
That's
wondered
asking
that
for,
for
questions.
years. For so many
I-
years, I've wondered.
You know what I like the most? Cake farts.
That's what I like the most. I love this. It was a white cake, the one I saw.
This is a new one, huh?
Yeah, this is new for me.
This is the OG. This is the first one I ever saw.
She is sexually approaching that cake.
She loves it.
Nice and comfortable.
Yeah, let your hair down.
Let your
before
hair
you-
down,
before you
girl.
get into the cake.
Whip your
part.
hair back and forth.
I love
Whip your
this.
hair
Like,
back and
what is
forth.
it? On the wall. Ready?
Oh my God, she's
Yeah.
squatting over the
Get
cake.
on it. Get on
Okay.
it.
Oh no!
she's
Oh, she's
squatting.
like she's putting on her pussy
Yeah,
too. It's
yeah,
like,
she is.
oh, it's like
Yeah, get
asking
in there,
for a yeast
girl.
infection. Anyway,
Hear it?
No. Oh wait. Is that a fart?
Listen.
no, you have to look.
That's the fart. That's the fart. Ah!
But the one I saw, the icing went poof, like because
With
it was
it?
like on because it was on her butthole.
Damn.
I know.
So there are
was
many more.
Let's
There's
say
more.
this video went for a while. There was,
Oof.
but anyway, so I'm
Oof.
glad I got to
It
share
was
that
a
with
whole
you.
site. It was like a whole website based on cake farts.
That's awesome.
I love like niche fetishes. That's one of my favorite things. Do you have any like from camming that you remember that really struck
There
a
was
chord
one
with you?
that was weird, but I still don't know to this day if he was just fucking with me. I think I told it before with the glass and the lipstick.
Oh, I don't know that.
Did I
Oh
tell you about
yeah,
that?
yeah.
So it was something like, okay, so it was all around the butthole, ironically enough. But he wanted me to put like purple lipstick on my butthole,
Oh,
and then this doesn't make any sense to me even now. I'm
so
thinking about
excited.
it, and I'm sent back like that. I remember this with such clarity. He wanted me to put the
course you
cigarette
remember it.
in my asshole and smoke the cigarette out of my asshole and blow
How?
smoke out of my asshole. Then when the cigarette was gone, he wanted me to take a piece of glass, like not like to put it in, but to kiss my purple butthole onto the glass and mail him the cigarette butt and the piece of glass. and I like couldn't think of a way to smoke a cigarette out of my ass, and so I politely declined. Yeah.
I've heard so many, and this is amazing.
I feel like I've told this before. have I
That's
not?
how I started my TikTok. Was I'll just tell stories about, like weird fetish
I
things.
thought
But
you meant that. That's how I
That's how I
started
started my TikTok.
That's so
is
ironic.
I-
I put purple lipstick
I-
on my asshole.
I smoked a cigarette out of my
You
asshole for
too?
TikTok. Oh my god, purple! It was purple lipstick. Oh my god, But
Wet
there
and
were-
Wild.
the Wet and Wild purple
Same.
lipstick. Oh my god, girl.
NYC.
Maybe it's Maybelline. That is amazing. I love that. That's so specific. I like the really specific where you're like, where did this come from?
I
good
remember
sir?
the room that I was in
Yeah.
when
Oh,
I
yeah.
read it on my screen.
This is a core memory. Look
It
at
was
this.
like when it was in
Yeah.
Fairfield, California, in the house that partially burned down, and it was in that little room, and I
Yeah.
was just sitting there like, I don't even know how this is a thing that I could make happen for you,
Yeah.
or how anyone could.
Yeah.
Does anyone who listens know how to smoke something out of your butthole?
Or out of your
because that doesn't
vagina.
sound-
I've heard that people can do that out of
Yeah.
your How do you
Vagina-
do
the-
that?
like
though?
with
the
the
vagina
joint,
makes sense.
like with the
But
kind
it
of.
joint.
does.
If you think
How
about
do
it,
you
'cause of
suck
the
in
queef.
air? But that's pushing out.
I know how to suck air. I can make myself
You
queef.
can do that?
Yeah.
Okay. When we collab tomorrow, can you show me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. We'll get
thank you.
BTS. I'll queef for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
Yes.
Thanks.
I would love to queef.
That
for
is the cementing of our actual friendship.
you. Yes. When I will queef for her tomorrow.
Thank you.
That's actually really exciting. I'm excited to queef.
Stay
for you.
I'm really
tuned.
excited for you to queef for me. I'm here for it. I will not ask you to put any lipstick on your butthole.
Thank you. I'm
I will.
now.
Is this part of the campaign that you're doing? Like also butthole
now?
lipstick.
If some lipstick gets on my
I'm
butthole
like-
somehow,
Oh,
maybe
actually,
I'll just have to kiss some glass with it.
Maybe.
Wow.
To the highest bidder.
Yep.
What I was just curious when we were talking earlier, and my brain went back to it for some reason. We were talking about like watching people have sex versus like being the one watch. Have you ever been to like a sex club?
Oh yeah, I used to like host
Like-
swinger parties, and I used
Yeah.
to go to like events, and I think there was like a kinky potluck that was every week in
A
Vegas when I
kinky
used to live here.
potluck?
It was like 80 people, and it was like every week was themed, and so like there was one that was like Jello wrestling themed, or like pillow fight themed, where there was like 12 mattresses and everyone got in a pillow fight, and it was a bunch of really kinky people doing crazy shit. And I would go to those or to I think there were a couple clubs here in Vegas, and I would go. I would rarely play because there weren't necessarily a lot of people that I was interested in playing with, but I liked being around that energy of people being really comfortable with nudity and with sexuality.
Yeah.
I liked that, but it didn't
Yeah.
necessarily turn me on.
Yeah, I went to sex clubs, but like for me, like it was just more of the atmosphere of it with
Yes,
that
yeah,
free to
yeah.
like whatever, and it's like I don't really necessarily get turned on by watching people have sex. I'll watch them, but like
Yeah.
it was like what you said. I wasn't really interested
Unless
you know
I'm
what
the
I
one
mean?
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
same.
but even like some of the people I've watched was like that's fascinating.
yeah.
Anyway, like, but I would like to like I took I don't know if she wants me to say this. I don't remember. I took someone. I'll
Okay,
tell- I'll
okay,
tell
okay.
you. I'll
Well,
tell you later.
keep it, yeah, keep it
it up.
anonymous.
But I took someone with me, and we like had sex in one of the orgy rooms while people watched, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is fun.
So
It's fun. I just like to
yeah.
be watched. Like I don't
Yeah.
even necessarily like. I don't see like a big tumbling group of naked people. And I'm like I gotta get in there.
Yeah.
But like if I'm with someone that I want to have sex with,
Yeah.
then based on what I just did, it's surprising that anyone would want to have sex with me. But
That was a good like wrestler voice. It was like good in there.
get in there.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Snap into. That's what you could call jumping into the orgy, is
her.
snapping into a Slim Jim.
That's her.
Yeah, I like this.
Her spirit animal.
Well, I did that with Mickey Maud when I
Okay.
lived in Vegas before, and he was just coming into town, and you can't really go as a single guy, and so we went just as a couple to like have sex in front of people, and we were in this really dark kind of orgy room, and people were watching us have sex, and it was like a ring of dudes around us jerking off, which I was into the idea of, but then the second one kind of like creeped a hand in. I was like, no,
Yeah.
and like don't touch me, but
Yeah.
like watch me.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah.
If,
I would
if
do
you're
that. I mean,
gonna
like
be
I like
here,
sex
like you
clubs.
need a fucking invitation.
Oh,
You
100%.
need an invitation.
Consent, my friends.
Someone else
Are
making
you
me
on the
come.
guest list? No, you are not.
Let me
No, sir.
check.
End of the line.
No.
She's checking here. Oh. Well, I think that's the thing about like that's kind of a segue into porn and having sex for a living, especially like boy girl sex. It's that so many people think that that means you'll fuck anybody. And I'm like, I'm literally
no.
fucking people who do it professionally.
Yeah.
That's my interest, and having people watch it
They're-
and jerk off to it.
They're good at it.
Right.
It's their job.
Yeah. I'm not hurting for it. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I could have sex if I want to have sex. I really like the
But
idea
it's
that
nice
people
to
are out there
be selective,
jerking
and you're just
off,
like, oh,
yeah.
I can be selective.
But you don't look selective when every day of the month you're having sex with somebody, which is basically what I'm doing.
Of course, but it's
But-
also one of those things. We were talking to Adeline Gray about this, where it was kind of like she's like, I thought I'd get into porn and like just be real slutty, and she's like, and now I'm just like, I get like a lot of good sex from like people who are tested and like
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
good and like
Yeah.
like if you already are having good sex with like clean tested professionals,
Yep.
it's like why do you need like
Yeah, it's like I go out or I like check people out at the gym or something, and there's a lot of really attractive people, and I'm like, I guess I'd make out with them, but it seems
Yeah.
kind of risky to do anything else, and I have my job and my coworkers' health to think about.
you're always
and I
thinking
just-
about like the
it's-
money maker, dude. Like I'm sorry,
it's your
but
job.
Yeah.
It's like when sex is your job, it changes kind of your views on it a little bit, which
Absolutely.
is also why sometimes I think about like people who start at 18 or something. You know, if
Yeah.
like this was my entire view of sex and sexuality was like on a porn set, I think that would have shifted how desensitized.
Trust me,
Let's
my
do it.
entire view of sex before this industry, through the industry, like I don't even know what good sex was until a couple of years ago. Let me tell you. But like,
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, because you started at 19, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. I was with my partner at 19, but I started like, do you remember the site Extra Lunch Money?
No. Maybe that
It was
sounds actually
like
familiar now that I
way-
started.
It was like way back in the day, like before I even ever cammed, and it
Yeah.
was just like one of those things where people could request certain like photos, like custom photos.
Oh, fun.
So sometimes they'd want me like write something with lipstick on my boobs or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and that
so
was like a
fun.
little like intro.
Pre-Snapchat.
And how old were you for that?
That I think I was 20 because
Yeah.
I think I did my first like cam stream right before my 21st birthday, but it wasn't like on my free cams, it was somewhere else. But
Yeah, I started
yeah.
on a different one too.
hmm
Huh.
Yeah. Long. Anyway, I don't
Long,
remember where I was
long
going
time
with that.
ago.
Well, we were just talking
Sex
about
is
how
good now. Oh yeah.
yeah,
sex
yeah,
is
yeah,
good
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Fuck
How
yeah.
it's changed your views
Yeah.
on sex and sexuality,
And it's
you know.
way different.
I didn't even know about like STDs and stuff, dude. I was homeschooled. Like I didn't
Oh,
have a
really?
sex talk. Mm-mm.
I was so paranoid about like I used condoms religiously like through like all of my sexual experiences.
I don't know what
you
a condom was.
Damn, really?
When I went to college.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
Good old
everything
homeschool.
everything that followed homeschool was just not surprising.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't shelter your children too much. That's all I can
Don't
say.
do it.
No kidding. Were you like pretty hypersexual growing up or no?
I was, but I didn't realize it because I didn't know what it was. Like,
Right, yeah,
I have
perspective.
very early memories of masturbating with pillows.
Yeah.
Like
I never did the
earlier than
pillow
I want to
thing.
share.
Yeah, fair. Fair.
So long ago.
Yeah.
And but it was like I didn't know what that was. There was no talk. My period was a surprise to me. I've talked about this before, but like I didn't know anything about sex or like relationships or just like it's don't do it.
Right. It was
God
just like a
says no.
blanket no. Yeah.
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 Easier for them to do that than to have the talks.
Yeah.
Right. But then when you have
You
these
know.
like very natural urges, it's like,
Mhm.
what do you do with that?
You have a
that do-
pillow.
that
you're
don't
just like, "This
feel
is
like
weird."
shame, you know?
Why do I
Yeah.
do this 6 times a day?
Sure does feel
So
good.
fun.
I love pillows, I guess.
Why is your door locked? I did get my door taken away.
Did
so
you? Because of pillow humping?
Maybe. My
Could
mom
be.
didn't really know what
So
she was
interesting.
walking in on, but it was like one of those didn't know. I got my door taken away a couple different times growing
Yeah.
up. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of different reasons, but I don't know. It's one of those things. We grew up very religious, and neither of my parents are really that way anymore, and they're separated, so it's easier with both things because
Sure.
you know. Well, my dad's happy. I don't know about my mom all the time. We don't talk that much, but like homeschooling was just very like my mom didn't want to do it
Oh.
for the first thing. My dad worked, so he was gone all the time. And it was just one of those like my brother and I just grew up very kind of like unparented.
Yeah.
It was just like, here's the books, do the thing, learn the stuff. I was like, how am I here? How am I alive? It's cool.
It's amazing. Yeah.
That's why I say luck. It's like, I
Yeah.
literally think about it all the time, is that like, for whatever hard work you can say or whatever, and I'm not going to say I don't work hard or haven't worked hard or whatever, but I feel like so much of everything with my life is just luck, one way or the other, bad luck or good luck, but eventually it just seems to work out. And it's like my friend Maggie always says, everything always works out for you.
I feel
And that's everybody.
I say
because
that
no
about
matter,
myself too. It's like
no matter
everything
what.
always turns out okay. Always.
Exactly.
Always.
It's like,
Or it gets
it's just
better.
It's not necessarily how you think it's going to be. So sometimes you can look at something and be like, oh my God, it didn't work out. But then it's like maybe even 2 months later, you're like, oh my God, it did work out. And here's why.
Yeah.
It's just like, nothing is ever fucking
It's all
perfect.
luck and reactions,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. There's so much that you don't choose, like who your parents are, or like where you grow up, where you go to school.
Yeah.
But I'm
But you
glad
can
it
choose
worked
to
out.
leave.
Right, or you can choose to go to therapy later and work on it or whatever.
Yes, which I
you know?
actually highly recommend all the time, because I
too.
was always one of those people that, like, especially growing up religious, and especially growing up when we did, like, it's hard to remember that I'm older now, so it's like mental health was not a fucking
No one
thing.
talked about going to therapy.
What do
That was
you
like
mean
only if you
mental?
had a
That was
really
for
bad
crazy
problem.
people.
Yeah.
And if you grew up in West Michigan, that was for gay people.
Well,
Yeah. That's a good reason to leave.
yeah, no kidding. Yay, therapy.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that, like, religious, background growing up. Did you have any of that or no?
I was raised Catholic, but it wasn't a super strong, like I remember my mom telling me that masturbation was normal and healthy.
Oh.
So like that was kind of a cool, I mean, God forbid I share it with anybody. That was too far.
Well, that was too far. But
that was just embarrassing to the
but
family,
at least
right?
you
But,
at least you
know,
were embarrassed by your own body.
and that's the
like-
thing, is that I was so hypersexual and so into, like, I was boy crazy. I could barely concentrate in school, a little girl crazy, but mostly boy crazy, like all throughout school. And just like obsessed with that energy of like I fuck everybody on the way to like the food court in high school. You know what I mean? Like I was just super into that. But religion, I went through all of it, but it never really clicked for me anyway.
Oh,
So it just never really made sense.
No, me neither. But it was like, for religion, I just never really understood it. I remember like having like debates, like in catechism class, like
Oh, catechism.
well, it's not. It's
CCD.
Christian Reformed.
Yeah.
So it's
okay.
like we just little pick and choose Burger King religion, have it your way, pick
Oh,
little pieces that you
delicious,
like.
first of all.
Exactly. It goes down real easy.
Yeah.
Never fresh.
Never fresh.
But
Never.
great fries.
Yeah, the great fries.
Great fries.
But yeah, so it's just very like, just sex wasn't, talked about unless to say like it's a bad thing, then you never do it. And
Until you're married, was that part of it, or just
I mean,
bad in general?
kind of, but it wasn't even like talked about. And when I was a kid, I was very much like, I don't want kids. I don't want to get married. I'm leaving.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I don't know, religion just never really stuck for me, but the way that I was raised, there was nothing outside of the religion. So just because I didn't understand like, or didn't agree with the teachings of the church, that shame of body and like self was still there. Like
Yeah,
it
of
was
course.
just like, I was a tankini girl all the way. Tankini, board shorts, never a bikini. That was way too
Oh,
much. Like
interesting.
couldn't do it. Couldn't stand the sight of myself in the mirror naked. I remember I would like I would shower, right? And you have like the curtain. I would reach out from the curtain and wrap myself in a towel before I'd get
Before
out
you
of the
even
shower.
got out of the
Uh-huh.
wow,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I used to be like in like summer camp. I used to be really embarrassed to change in front of anyone. Like I was,
Oh, I could never.
I was really like, yeah, that was very like scary for me. So I think body confidence, especially, that's one thing I attribute to sex work, is the confidence in my body and my sexuality has just grown and grown and grown and grown. Like that's been really nice.
Yeah. I still got the moments of body dysmorphia, especially at certain times of the month. But for the most part, I'm just like, my body's changed a lot too
Yeah.
over the course, and my face because I'm aging.
Yep.
But it's like they're still here, they're still coming,
That's life.
and they're still coming. You know what I mean?
They're
it's
coming
like-
and they're coming.
Yeah, they're coming around and they're
Hey.
coming
I
on their
mean-
screens or whatever, wherever they come. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Sorry.
never mind.
they're
I went
coming
too
on the-
weirdly.
They're coming on the articles.
On the articles,
okay?
article,
Let's get it right.
Exactly. But as I've gotten older, like, I mean, the MILF thing is so big that we're talking about Luck coming back in the industry at
At a time
36,
that
37.
MILF is like it.
Thank God, because
So-
I was like, well, no one, I'm too old for this. But
Yeah.
it's so big that like, you know, you just hit the right.
So when are you gonna fuck Young Gravy?
Oh God. I heard, I heard he was just grabbing people and kissing them at like the AVN thing. And I
Oh
was
really?
like,
I heard he was at AVN. We didn't see him, but
Yeah,
He
I
was
saw
at
him
the
at the awards
parties.
and at the Sapphire party thing. I
Yeah,
think,
that's
so,
what we heard.
which is fine, whatever. I
Whatever.
I just think it's funny because every song has something about fucking a mom.
yeah, he's like super into MILFs.
Yeah.
Which I
He
was
fucked
never
Lisa Ann, I
into
heard.
younger guys, right? I was always into older men, and then like so many of my shoots have been with younger people to the point where some of them look so young. I have to like push myself through it. Of like they're consenting, they are
Yeah.
over 18, you know, because
Yeah.
their purpose it's on purpose that you know whatever that they want them to look
Yeah.
so young too. And then I went to a Jiffy Lube the other day. And the kid behind the counter was probably 20. Look how evil your face is right now. And the kid behind the counter was probably 20. And I went, oh, I'd fuck him. And I did. And I don't know where this is coming from, but it's got to be because I'm working with more,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
You
and
feel
they're
more-
always stoked. They're always like, yeah, MILF, you know, so
Oh,
it's me. You know?
That's great though. Like honestly, I had this huge fear all throughout my 20s. Like especially like Max was always like, once you hit 30, it's
Oh,
over.
that's terrible.
So it was
God.
always that panic of like, oh, 30 is coming, 30
Yeah, I'm
is
going to
coming.
lose it. Yeah.
And then the other day I was on stream and someone was like, I'm 19. And I was like, what do you mean? Don't tell me that.
Baby, you are baby.
Don't talk to me. Shh. Lower your voice, young man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
can't.
Yep.
I was just like, whoa, I didn't need to know that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's fine. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Well, I think about myself at like 17, 18, and I was after 34-year-old men, and I was, oof, man, I was just ready to go. But then I think about it
Yep.
now that I'm a 37-year-old woman, and I'm like, what were they fucking thinking? I was a kid, you
Oh,
know?
girl, trust me.
Yeah.
I think about so many of like the older men like throughout the younger
Yeah.
life, and especially when you're young, you don't even think about it. You're just like, oh,
No,
they're being so
I'm so
nice, man.
mature,
and they
and
think I'm
yeah.
so mature, and it's like not even nothing
we have
ever
a
like
connection.
yeah, like it, just this weird situation. I remember this time, like I can't remember when it was, but I was real young because it was like this camp counselor that I met during one of my summer things.
Yeah.
And well, I want to say I was like 14 or something like that,
Yeah.
and he was 22. And I didn't realize
It's such a
what
different phase of
difference
life.
that
Yeah,
was.
it
And I
really
was
is.
homeschooled too, so it's like I go to summer camp,
Oh,
and then there's
we're,
this
like, so
dude who's like
unprepared.
talking to you so nice to you, and all the other girls are
Yeah.
mean, but he's so nice. And
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, you exchanged numbers, and my dad found out that he was texting me and like
Yeah.
asked who it was, and then it was like phone privileges shut off, number blocked, like,
Yeah.
and I was so pissed. I remember at the time
this
because I
is
was
true
like,
love.
I was like, no
He's my
boy has ever talked to me before.
Yeah, you don't want this one
Yeah.
though. Yeah, because it's
And I
just
didn't think about it till
inherently kind
later.
of predatory
Mhm.
because you know there's such a power imbalance
Yeah.
there. And even though I was fully consenting, loved sex, was really excited about it, I was the pursuer in most of these. They probably shouldn't have been doing it, you know.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I think I only had one guy turn me down, and it was like not even legal at the time because I was 17, you know, in California. But they were like, well, you know, she wants it. So,
Yeah. It's crazy to think about that. I don't even think about like it's so weird. My partner and I now are so close in age, like within a year, and
Yeah.
that's so strange to me because like almost all of my other relationships are like either much older or at least older and enough that I felt like they were so much older when I was young. You know what I
right?
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it was weird, and I was like, oh, and like every single one of those people manipulated me into a bad
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
It's
It's so nice to feel like you're kind of on equal footing,
yeah.
right?
I'm like, oh, we relate on all references except for movies because you've never seen any. hurts
I'm
my
similar with
soul.
that too. Like all like the classics, I'm like, I haven't seen it, you know. So
Yeah, that's
like,
okay.
you just have
though.
to introduce him to movies.
Oh, he can't.
Oh.
He can't sit through them
Oh,
most of the
okay.
time.
All
Some
right.
of them, sometimes you'll find one that'll catch it, but
Yeah.
he's very like he's so smart.
He's on podcast.
And I'm just,
He
I live in
listens-
a
yeah.
fantasy world. It's more fun here. I don't know how it would even fare like out in the real world. Like when you were talking about like leaving and getting like a job at a restaurant and realtor, I was just like, how was that like going from being like I'm so curious about that because like when I think about all the autonomy that I have now, or even that I had back when I was camming all the time, considering the situation that I was in, I still had so much control over just most day-to-day things, or like how much to cam, or you know, all these other situations.
Yeah.
But to go from that to being like, here's your 9 to 5, or
Yeah.
maybe 2 jobs, or like whatever that you were doing, how was that transition?
It was a weird one. I think I struggled mostly with not knowing how to act.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm suddenly thrust into a situation where it's no sex workers, and I didn't know what was appropriate to say. I was very buttoned up. I was like quieter. You know, I've never been quiet, but like I was quieter. And at least with real estate, you're running your own business, but it was a completely new set of systems, right? That you had to learn and figure out and hustle and, you know, try and convince somebody to use you to buy a house, even though you've never fucking done it before and you're not really sure of the steps, you know? So it was intimidating. I had people think that I was religious because I was kind of quiet. I will say that a positive part of it was that I felt like I wasn't looked at for my sexuality first. And so it was kind of nice to say, to put myself out there and think, oh, maybe they're thinking about my intelligence before they're thinking about like me naked, you know? So that was a nice part of it. But even when I kind of found my stride and was doing well in that industry, I still, it still wasn't as fun as this. It just coming back into it, this is so much more fun and fulfilling. And, and at least with real estate, you could kind of run your own days and run your own hours, and you're an independent contractor. And I was doxxed while it happened too. And so luckily being an independent contractor, they didn't care, you know, about it. But still, it was still scary. I remember working, because I was working in fine dining and also doing real estate. And I remember like every new busboy that was hired, I was like, do you recognize me? Oh God. Because I was so worried about people treating me differently, you know, and I had a partner at the time who was really jealous and stuff too. So I just was nervous about all of it. I was just kind of nervous and not fully myself for that 5 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now you're back.
Oh, it's so great.
Welcome
I'm
back.
so happy.
We're very happy to have you here. I'm so excited to shoot content tomorrow.
I am too. You were like sending me ideas. I was like, yes, yes, and yes, and yes. Also, yes.
I love it.
Lipstick on the butthole. I'm here. Like, what?
I'm so excited.
She sent me so many lipstick on butthole ideas. It was
Perfect.
absurd.
And I got all the colors. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you,
We
Laura,
could
we
do a
just need
rainbow.
purple. We just
Laura put like 5 different shades on before I sent you that picture.
The right match.
I framed that picture on my wall of your lipstick asshole.
Fabulous. If you weren't going to do it, I was.
Oh, that's so helpful.
I mean,
You're so
this
great.
Is great. We're on the same level.
I fucking love this. It's good. Oh,
But yes, collab stuff and shooting stuff. I'm really excited.
it's
about
gonna be sick. I'm
the
stoked.
fucking redhead thing. I mean, mine's fake. I don't know, but you know.
Mine's not fake at all.
Oh my God. I mean, mine's real too. Shh, they can't see us.
It's funny because like when no, I've talked about this on stream, maybe not on podcast, but when I was a kid growing up, like I did have like strawberry blonde hair, and then it became more reddish, and then just the older I got, the darker it got. So natural color in the sun, still like auburn,
Yeah.
but it's you know more brunette now. But I like this, so
I like it.
fuck it.
I think it looks great, and there aren't as many redheads too when it comes to branding and things like that. So like I've had every color of hair, but
Yeah, I
the
have
red is
too,
kind of
but
stuck.
I like the red.
Same.
I feel like it fits me
you.
the best. I had a period of time where I was like, maybe I should just go brunette and just see how it goes. And I was like, I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah. I think you and I both like attention too. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I do. So that it is definitely like a striking feature on someone.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Every time I go out and someone's like, oh my God, I love your hair. I'm like, thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, there's? What else do you like?
I just rolled out of bed this morning. Tell me more about how you like the shade.
So nice.
No, it's cool though. It was funny, like the things when I was a young cam model that I thought that I had to protect was like the hair, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, because well, if you're not natural, it doesn't count. I'm like, well, neither are my tits, and you still jerk off to those. So,
right.
like, what's your fucking problem?
Every so often I'll get
Nobody
comments on
has problems
Twitter
with that.
that are like natural beauty. I'm like, oh honey, no, the boobs and the nose and the filler and the Botox and the hair extensions and the eyelashes, like none of it. I mean, the rest of my body.
Listen, my
butt's
skin is
real.
natural, except for the tattoo. Just Just look at this arm.
But I mean that, and it's a part of this that people I don't think realize, like how much upkeep and maintenance, especially if you're shooting really often, like, or to maintain a look where you're aging gracefully too. I mean, it takes effort and money and and intention to not go too far in a direction if you don't want to look a certain way, or it's
Absolutely.
it's a whole thing.
But you are aging very gracefully, let me tell you, because I wouldn't have guessed that age. I didn't even know how old
Same.
you were,
Oh,
to be
Same.
honest.
yeah.
So
It
Looking
is
good.
the Botox and the hair extensions and the gym membership and all
And
that kind of
all
stuff.
the hard work and good genetics.
Also,
All the
yeah,
things.
yeah,
all the bees.
yeah. And the D.
Oh, and the D.
Terrible.
So where can everybody find you? Because this has been fantastic. I'm sure everyone wants to know where they can
Oh,
consume
yeah.
you.
Your
Content. Where they consume your
They
content.
can
not you.
consume my yes. So honestly, the best way is just to Google Sophia Locke, because when I got back in the industry, all of my socials have been taken. So there's underscores everywhere. So honestly, just if you Google Sophia Locke, you will be hit with my TikTok, my Twitter, and so much of my porn. So if that's what you're looking for,
Just like your social media handles. So
yeah,
that they
it's
can
the
make
Sophia Locke
sure
for
that
OnlyFans.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
And
Sophia
then
Locke.
Twitter is underscore Sophia Locke underscore. TikTok is Sophia Locke underscore. But
Perfect.
So
And then Google it, and just
Also
be careful
Google it.
not to get catfish. Just look at the followers,
I don't
guys.
I don't get a lot of catfishes.
No?
So
Oh,
yeah,
man,
I know
lucky
you have
you.
tons. But
It's so dumb. I get recommended my own videos on TikTok from not my account.
you're like, do not like. I mean, but I do
you
like.
buy
it.
liker. Oh wait, it's you.
I actually made a
Oh, she
TikTok
pretty.
about that the other day because I was like, I opened TikTok and I was like, that looks like me. And then I realized it was me, but it wasn't me. What is
Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up, wait a minute. All right. Thank you all for listening. This has been absolutely fantastic, and we're going to go consume food.
Yes.
Yes. Thank
So-
you for having me. You guys are so lovely.
This is
Thank
amazing.
you.
Appreciate it. Thank
This
you.
is fantastic. And always remember to put lipstick on your butthole. All right. Bye.